whims or expectations.
Okay, so one clarification. All this applies to a large company, I already said that. Okay? Because in a very small group, it has no meaning. Okay? It has actually no meaning because the critical mass for decision making is not there. So, the probability doesn't work out. In a large company, luck evens out over a period of time. Okay? That's the first part of it. The point when I say treating people's emotions in a way that data-driven doesn't puncture their passion and their enthusiasm, the whole concept of data-driven approach is that build a fair system. A fair system. Okay. Now, let's look at other philosophically. Okay. Now let's look at the global issues, our world problems and disparities and all. People get lucky in an unfair world. In an unfair world, people get lucky. That's how it is. No matter where some people are not believing. How often we come across a person, he doesn't deserve it. He's rich. He got lucky. Can you follow his path? You cannot follow his path because it's like, you walk into a casino, pull a slot machine and you hit a jackpot and you think you're smarter than everybody else on the shop floor. Casino. But that's not the truth. You just got lucky. So when you are so
the paradox in the fair system is
fair system, yeah. So you have to kick the luck factor out of equation in a fair world. That is all I was saying. Sorry. Okay. So the point is that in real life you see organizations which are very large are run by wrong people. Sometimes they build inefficient environments. This is an unfair world. Okay? In a fair world, capable people run companies. Capable people get promoted. That's what data-driven approach is. Good people run. Okay, so they are building more efficiency. More efficient company. In unfair world, good ones don't get the credit. They get discouraged, punctured, they leave their path, and they lost the motivation. Unfair people keep running. So when you build fairness, that means the companies are efficient. Companies are efficient. There's more productivity. More productivity. There's more to go around. More to go around. There's less disparity in the world, right? So you need a world full of efficient company. And I mean, everybody's an entrepreneur. If they build a great company, they build social service anyways.
So, though it sounds like a paradox, what I'm hearing is to be able to be fair to everyone, you have to establish a system which may seem inhuman because it is not human driven, but it is data driven. But it is a system which will actually treat most of the people, not all.
Most of it will treat them more humanly.
Right.
It becomes fair. And by the way, and there's nothing new that I'm saying. Everybody understands this more and more and more, especially IT industry people. But implementing it is a different thing. I'm the largest company. What happens? If you say mathematician, so our industry has built a legacy. They are run by super smart, intelligent people, not by systems. Even the best of the companies. Because, there's so much money to be made. You can growth strategies more than efficient strategy. You can afford to run wider circles around the dollar piles of cash even today in most of the bigger businesses because they have economics of scale. They will have statistician kind of people running the show to some degree, small degree, but it's a formality. It's more like, when they keep data-driven guys in decision making, it's more like, like a tourist in Morocco, where all the guides, he takes a guide because to ward off other 9 people who are trying to trade the camel for his wife. So he said, might as well take first guy to go around. So this is how they do it. They will take one data-driven guy, कि कोई बोले नहीं कि हम लोग data-driven company नहीं है. That is how they do it. So they don't do it in a serious intent. Because actually the biggest problem in data-driven is it makes you redundant. Okay. What about me? What happens to me? Where's your ego? What happens to that? Okay. So I'm not saying that you don't use your intelligence IQ. Nobody is saying that. Even to make system, you need very sharp IQ and commitment and brain. So you need that, and there's a human touch. It's not like it's black and white. There's a lot of grays there. But you need a thought process to make a system-driven organization. At least you should have very clear indicator. This is going to be my differentiator. If that is what you believe in. And that's what we believe in. Our punchline only is delivering value scientifically. So Cybage has won many awards on this in national level, international level, many times. In fact, we give seminars on this.
That's interesting. So, unfortunately, there's a lot more things we can discuss. It's a very interesting discussion, but we'll have to respect time. So we'll have to throw open to question answer session. There were many different topics, including funding, etc., which I would have loved to cover, but I'll leave it to someone to ask that in the Q&A session. So, if there isn't, just 1 minute before we jump into the Q&A session, Arun, on a different note, is there anything about Arun that we don't know? So, do you go off to South America and do bungee jumping from the highest bridge in a South American country, or do you do unicycling in the Rocky Mountains? Anything you do that we don't know about you?
If I go to South America, I won't do for bungee jumping. I do bungee jumping in New Zealand. I'm a very simple guy. Very fond of traveling like everybody else. My wife is very fond of traveling, my kids are very fond, so we do a lot of things together, do vacationing together. I'm very fond of writing. I have my own blog. I'm very fond of passionate about writing. So I do all those things. Back is everything simple. I eat.
So for the benefit of everyone here, what's your blog?
ArunNathaniblog.com.
There it goes. So we can all go there and pick it up. So let's throw it over to Q&As.
So you said you're a data-driven company and you want to make inhuman decisions. Whereas many times startups, most of the times when they start, there are data points or public opinion which goes against, but still they persist. So the question I want to ask, at what point in the company's, you started feeling that this company should be data point driven? And what needs you feel that you started in this particular direction?
Yeah, so when we started off in the beginning in 96, 97, when we started getting business, there was so much money to be made. There was a lot of money to be made. So body shopping was very popular and you make extremely high billing rates to the customers. So most of our peers, what they did is they will invest heavily in front end marketing and just grow. We didn't have the money for that. And one of the interesting things about money is you cannot spend the money you don't have. So couldn't spend, so how to survive? When you have no contact only, no marketing only, so you grow by deliveries only. So by deliveries and execution maturity, so all your focus goes in that. In any industry, when you go become more and more delivery focused, execution focused, then data driven automatically becomes part of it because you know the pulse of this thing, take a decision this way or not. What is data driven? What is data? Data driven is only everything that happens in life has happened before. Correct? Forget about business. Deja vu. Everything that happens in life has happened now. If you can understand the probability of that event happening odds, you can make a better decision. That's all data driven, right? We can talk in a very complex way, but fundamentally is that. In life, when you are in a, let's say, marital relationship with your spouse, okay, something you said which didn't go right. Second time you said didn't go right. Third time you said didn't go right. Now fourth time you haven't learned. Okay, that is data driven. So you figure out that the argument will go this way. Then she will say this, and I will say this. Then she will say this, and by the end you will be on loggerhead. It applies in everything in life, right? That is data driven. Okay. So when we started being an execution for a company, we figured out that it works. Using your experience for better decision making is going to help. Okay. So we started doing it more. So then we started making money. But then we had figured a better way of running business. So why spend money when you don't need to? When you make an execution for a data-driven company, you do very well. So this was done by heroism and common sense way. Okay? It becomes too big for that at some point. Then you have to build IT systems. And in about 2004, 2005 is when we started building systems for it. If Cybage is not a data-driven company, there's no reason for us to survive. Because there are large companies who can do everything we do. We have Infosys here, representation. Okay.